Hello, 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 everybody. I am solo today, so I'm just making sure everything's right. I have three cameras set up here today, and again, I'm solo, so you have to bear with me. So, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Melissa Nielsen with Waldorf Essentials, and I am really glad you're joining us today. So I wanted to go live today and talk about our Thinking, Feeling, Willing program. And if it's right, let's find out if it's right for you. So we get a lot of questions about our program, and especially right now as there's been a lot of change. And I want to talk about that change a little bit, why we're making the changes we are, and really the best reason for you to hop on board if you are a Waldorf homeschooling family. So you're going to have to be forgiving because I'm going to go between three cameras a little bit so that I don't neglect anything. I'm going to adjust this one just a wee bit. So, and I want to invite you to ask questions because even though I've got three cameras going, I think I can handle it. I can do hard things. That's what I tell my kids all the time. So what is our Thinking, Feeling, Willing program? And if you are listening and you're a Thinking, Feeling, Willing member and you want to post in the comments, hey, I love this program or anything great like that, it'd be awesome if you would, because we love to sort of share the love and giving people the opportunity to understand the program a little bit, I think is super helpful. So I thought I would just start about what is the program? What in the heck is Thinking, Feeling, Willing? And if you're on Facebook or Instagram, you see my Thinking, Feeling, Willing sign. It looks backwards to you. It looks a little bit more like WTF instead of TFW. I promise it's not. It's just stands for Thinking, Feeling, Willing. Anyway. So I'm going to start here. I want to tell you this program is so much more. This is what most people will say. So much more than what you thought it was when you started. Mostly because we tend to pack a lot into this program. And even though we're making a lot of changes, the program is going to be amazing forever because I love our Thinking, Feeling, Willing members. I'll love the members of whatever program we come up with next too, but you guys are you're my OGs, right? We're in it together. And so, which is really funny to say about, a program that has about 1,300 people in it. But, I just really want to say that I love our members dearly, and the ones that take the time to really get to know us and that we spend a lot of time with. Such an enriching environment when we do that. And so the things that I'm going to talk about today really and truly come directly from my heart. I'm an open book. You're welcome to ask me anything. We've been at this a long time. Eric and I, my husband Eric, who works with us a lot, we have 5 children. 3 are from my practice husband and 2 are from Eric. All of them have the love of an amazing dad in my husband. He sort of envelops them all. So we've been at this a long time. Our oldest just turned 23 on Monday, which is super crazy. We have 23 is our oldest, and for those of you who have kids on the spectrum, our oldest has autism. So his Asperger's, which I know they don't use that designation anymore, but that he has Asperger's and he lives on his own. He has a job. The state of California even lets him carry a gun for his job. So we've taken a lot of time to get him to that space, and he's an amazing human being. We have a son that will be 21 in March, a daughter that just turned 19 this week as well, and she lives here in San Diego. My other son oldest lives in San Diego. My second son lives in Vancouver, Washington, and he's also an amazing human being. All of them have all been through the Waldorf curriculum at home with me. And my second son did choose to go to public school from 10th grade on. And, that could have gone really great or it could have gone really horrible. And it went great. We had a lot of great experiences with his public school teachers and with his school counselors. And such a great human being. And I'm so glad that he had that opportunity. And he really just, it was the right place for him. So again, we have a daughter that's 19. Then we have the ones that live at home, that if you're following us on Instagram or Facebook, you're seeing their lesson plans. I try to post their lessons, and I try to post them every week. It doesn't always happen. Like, you guys, I get really busy too. I go, oh my gosh, I haven't posted lessons. Like, I didn't post anything last week. So this week will be a bigger post. But the kids we have at home right now are Samuel, who he is 13 and a half. He'll be 14 in June. He's going through 7th grade. And Soraya, who is in 2nd grade. She will be 9 at the end of April. And she was a preemie, so we sort of held her in that space of making sure that she was properly placed, which is super, super important in Waldorf and a huge question that a lot of parents have. So that's who we are. We are highly supported by our family. They love us dearly. We love them. We're super excited when we get to spend time with them. And several of my children live here in San Diego with us, and I am the co-leader of a co-op here in San Diego. So I see that somebody message over here, Tara Dean. I hope I'm saying that right. You're on the list. Are you coming this weekend? We have a new member, prospective member breakfast for our co-op this weekend. So hopefully we'll see you at that. But I want to just shift and just really dive into our Thinking, Feeling, Willing program, why we created it, what it actually is, and why, again, it's like so much more than what most people think it is. Most people think they're coming to get training and some support and of course curriculum, but it is like a life-changing program. And I don't say that to pat myself on the back. I say that because I have put everything into this program that I wished had been there for me when I started this road many years ago. And so, when I started, I didn't know about the curriculum. I had to learn. And y'all, when I was a new mom that was new at this, there was not the internet. I'm old. I will be 47 a week from Sunday. So when I started this journey, there were Yahoo groups, and that was about it. And so when I needed something, I really had to go to the source. So I read a lot of Steiner. I'm one of those weird people that read Steiner for fun. And I know that sounds really weird. People go, what? You do what? It's such enlightening work when you can slow down and take the time to do it. And I love it. Do I agree with everything he says? No, I don't. But I agree with a lot of what he said, which is why we're here, which is why we do what we do. So definitely there's that. But when I started, there was nothing out there. So when I created this program, I created it because I wanted to give people what I didn't have. And I wanted to sort of pour into it all of the experience that we had in learning what we did. And, with 5 children and, I've been through a divorce. So we have an ex-husband in the situation that was a hard thing to go through for many years. I had a stroke 6 years ago. So we've had health issues in our family. We have kids with special needs, my oldest and my youngest, both of them. So oldest has ASD, Asperger's, youngest has SPD, probably ADHD, and a whole bunch of other letters that she just is what she is. She's this beautiful human being. So, and all of them are. So we have been down this road, and I really wanted to create something that really helped families where they needed it. And that was more than just curriculum. That was parenting help. That was, help with inner work. Like, what's this thing about how do I show up and how do I hold the space and don't really like myself very much? How do I figure that out and fix that? All of those things that start to come up when you have a curriculum that you're working on where you're forced to sort of look at yourself. So we really wanted to sort of have a a program that helped address all of those things. So when we started, it was very small, very small. We started with 12 mom lessons in the beginning. I'm going to talk about those in a minute. And it's grown and grown and grown. And at the beginning, we only included kindergarten, and then it included everything. So it has really grown, and there really has been no better time to join this program than now. Why? Because it's about to go away. It's going to go away on March 31st. Why is it going away, Melissa? What are you doing? So I will talk about that here in a few minutes. But first I want to talk about the program. And what I will say is it's not going away for the people who have it. So the people who have it, you are in an amazing spot, because being in that spot means you have everything just about in our catalog for life. All of our updates, any revisions that are coming, things that we add, and we will, just because we're not selling the program anymore, doesn't mean we're not going to continue to add to it. It's one of those things where it's never quite finished. I sort of feel a little bit like George Lucas. I was laughing the other day. I said, you know how he just kept tinkering and tinkering, and then he just had to sell it because he just couldn't quit tinkering. And then even when he sold it, he was like, knock, knock, Disney, I need to come in and tell you some more about what I want to do. That was totally me. I am totally like in it all the time. I am totally always wanting to add things because I go, oh, they need this. I want to add this to the program. And so I will continually add to it, just like I have been over the last, I guess it's been 8 years, almost 8 years. And so that will be continual. That's nothing that's going to change. It's just going to keep getting better and better and better. And we will have something that will replace it. But I'm not going to talk about that today because it's not going to be as cool as this. Like, not close. It's going to be cool because I created it and I am doing what I know people would like to see and what I feel like would be great. But I'm not going to talk about that right now. If you want to hear about that program, you'll want to come back in like March. But honestly, it's not going to be this cool. So what is Thinking, Feeling, Willing? Thinking, Feeling, Willing is curriculum. It is coaching from an expert, me, and we have other like very seasoned moms that are there helping as well. And it's also training. So I want to talk about the training piece first. The training piece is comprised of mom lessons, is what we call them. And those mom lessons, right when we started, there were 12. Now there are 17. We will be adding another one sometime this year. As soon as I get a handle on some of the other things that we're doing. So here are the mom lessons. Rhythm is number one. It's the first place everybody should start is rhythm. If you don't have your rhythm figured out, that's where you should start because that's really the foundational piece of everything. And we don't just talk about what day you should go shopping and what day you should bake. Rhythm is nothing about that. I mean, yeah, it's great to have a day that you do those things, but rhythm is tied to you. Rhythm is about your internal. Rhythm is about how you move through life. Rhythm is about it's part of you. It's not this external. I always sort of laugh when somebody says, oh, I have to get back on the rhythm. I go, you know, your rhythm is always there because it's part of you. So it's all in how you sort of look at that rhythm piece. So there's the rhythm. There's understanding the Waldorf curriculum. Inner work, and we dive deep into inner work, very deep, and we talk about it constantly in our live calls that we do every week. So it's never, you're never going to get away from inner work. If you're somebody who's like, I don't know about myself, I don't want to talk about what holds me back, I don't want to talk about how I'm showing up to my kids, it's probably not a program for you. If, however, you're like, hey, bring it on, it's hard stuff, but I really want to get through it, then this program is for you, for sure. We also talk about temperament. We go deep into temperament. Temperament's another one of those funny things that people just think that they check the box, okay, I figured out my temperament and they don't have to do anything else. Temperament is an ongoing, continual pursuit, and understanding it, understanding how your temperament works with everybody else in your home and the people that you live with and the people that are in your life. And when you understand all of that, makes life so much easier, and it's so blissful. Blissful, maybe that's not the right word. It's so beautiful. That's a better word. When you can really appreciate yourself and appreciate those around you. Even if you get frustrated at them, you go, oh, I know that was going to happen because that's their temperament. Of course, that's what they're going to do. So it's very helpful to sort of have that piece of decoding humanity. We have a mom lesson that's on form drawing. That's all about the ins and outs of form drawing for all the grades. All the grades that there's form drawing for. So like first grade through fifth grade. And then it turns to geometry after that, which we also include. We have a whole mom lesson on planning, and that includes our Planning for Peace course, our Planning for Peace journal, that we are continually working to make updates and changes to make it even better than it is, which is really all of the planning experiences and expertise that I have learned in the years and years of doing this. We have a mom lesson on painting and drawing, a mom lesson on movement. That is still a work in progress. That one's still a work in progress. Modeling, handwork. Who doesn't need help with handwork? Handwork is it's like one of the things that people are like, oh, I'm so scared of handwork. We teach you how to not be scared of handwork. We teach you all of it. We teach you from figure knitting to embroidery with knitting and crochet and cross stitch and all those things in between. We have a mom lesson on festivals, music, writing your own curriculum, our Thrive program, which is a program we wrote for couples, schooling several children, circle time creation, and our last one that we just created last year is reading, writing, and spelling. So we have a question here. Are the lessons scheduled and flexible, or can we do the trainings at any time, access at any time? This program, our Thinking, Feeling, Willing program, is a lifetime program. So you have access to this program for life. So you do them self-paced when you are ready, and you don't have to do them in order. We have moms generally, what they do is they come to their first office hours, and we'll talk about that in coaching in just a moment. They come to their first office hours and they say, okay, so I started this and these are the places that I'm struggling. And then I go, okay, well, why don't you start with these mom lessons? And then once you've got those mom lessons down, if you feel like you need some help choosing what to do next, then come on back to office hours and we'll talk about what to do next. So that's really how it works. But you have access for life, which is a good thing because often we'll make changes, updates, and not changes as in, I don't believe that way anymore, that kind of thing, but more like, hey, I had some more thoughts on temperament and I just added them in. Or I recorded some new videos on X, Y, and Z, so we've added that. So it's constantly deepening. So what I generally recommend is that moms go through the mom lessons at least once a year, that you take the time to really evaluate where you are with each one of those things. How do you feel about your rhythm? How do you feel about your skills with regards to like painting and drawing and modeling and all the things that have to do with art and the curriculum? How do you feel about, navigating your temperament? How do you feel about festivals? How do you feel about, your relationship with your partner? All of those things. So we recommend that moms sort of go through our mom lessons once a year and just sort of get a good refresher. Because when we feel off and we feel wonky, it's usually because something in there is a little out of place and we get a little bit screwy, so we have to sort of reevaluate. So that's the mom lesson training. We also have curriculum for K through 6 right now is written curriculum. We have 7th through 9th in guide format, which is about to get expanded. And we have 10th through 12th is coming. So we are just embarking on a very large revision project this year that will take us through next year. So we'll have portions of it ready by this time next year, by about March of next year. And then the rest of it will be released. Well, much of it will be released through the rest of next year, so 2021. And it's the biggest revision we've ever done. And it will be revisions. We're adding some things. We're fleshing some more things out. The content won't be changing a whole lot. What it will be is a lot more of, hey, people have asked me to go deeper here. So here's some more context and background here. And I see that this feels a little bit weak. So I'm going to give you some more information on how I actually did it with my children. And we're going to be fleshing that out and making that stronger throughout the whole curriculum, and then also giving expecting a lot more for the upper grades as well. Tara says, I hope I'm saying it right. Is it Tara Dean? She says, Lifetime will include 7th through 12th. Yes, it will. So our Lifetime curriculum, or our Lifetime program that is sold right now through March 31st, will include all of this and all the revisions that are to come. That's why it's so important that you hop on now. Because if you don't hop on now, come April 1st, you're gonna be like, wait a minute, there's all this cool stuff coming and I want part of it. And so this way it allows you to really and truly be part of it. Let's see, somebody asked, when will the updated kindergarten be coming? So that will be coming next year as well. So we're going to start with, and we'll have a full announcement on that, on like the timeline. That was the word I was looking for. On the timeline of when everything is going to be released. We'll have a full announcement on that in March at some point. So we'll do a live, and I'll probably bring our co-author on that's helping us with those updates, where we're sort of writing a lot of things together. And she is somebody that we brought on to be an assistant to me with regards to pedagogy. So she's going to be checking our facts and making sure we're good and make sure we have enough Steiner in all of those places. And she's going to be helping us write some of the pieces as well. So yes, those will all be there, and we'll have a timeline for that revision will be available sometime in March. But yes, kindergarten is going to be getting some updates too. One of the biggest things we'll be doing for kindergarten is we'll also be adding the portion that we wrote for the Southern Hemisphere. We'll just end up putting right into the kindergarten curriculum. So that will be, I know that that's something that our Southern Hemisphere families have really wanted. It's already available in digital in our kindergarten course. So that way they have access to that. So there'll be more things coming. No worries. So let's see what else. We also have geometry, math book, all of those things are part of our curriculum. And, we really have a very Steiner-centered curriculum. It is a very Waldorf-centered curriculum. And it's something that I've always sort of been on this path. People ask me all the time, what makes Waldorf so different? And I truly say this not from a place of like platitude or like floweriness, but it is a way of thinking. And it's not like in a cult-like way, because people go, oh, it's a cult. I heard that it's a cult. I promise it's not. I promise it's not. It is, though, a way of looking at the human being that nobody else does. Nobody else looks at the human being in this place of nurturing their heart, nurturing their intellect, and nurturing this need to give and this need to be part of the world. And that's something that I've taken within myself, and it affects every single thing that I do every day, because it becomes part of you, and not in the respect that the dogma becomes part of you. What becomes part of you is this way of looking at what is age appropriate for children, what is developmentally appropriate, what should we be seeing happening right now, what should I make sure that I keep them away from, because there's this space and time that they need to develop, and this XYZ thing is not going to help in that development. So it really and truly is a way of looking at the human being, whether it be the child, the adult, and sort of looking at humanity through this space of, how can I help it? How can I bring my best self every day to this? And how can I teach my children to bring their best selves every day? And that's something that I think that we do really well in Waldorf. I think that, there are some struggles with some schools, but I think that with regards to homeschoolers, especially when they're not stuck in the I'm better than you are place, and they're definitely more in the space of I want to serve, I want to be here, I want to help humanity, then it is really and truly Steiner's work at its best. And that's what I say when people say, what is this all about? It's really about that. And really and truly, with regards to our program, there's no other program like this out there. There's no other program. There's no other program that's like Thinking, Feeling, Willing. There's some programs, but there's nothing that gives you what this program does. We truly have a roadmap. We have been doing it the longest. We have been doing it with the most people. We have thousands of families that have walked with us. And so we really feel like we have a good space of people that have given us a lot of experience. So I'm going to move on. So we also have within the program, you also get Coloring with Block Crayons, which is an amazing little block crayon program by Siglinda DeFrancesca, who also wrote The Way of the Gnome and The Dauncey of Gnomes. She's a beautiful storyteller. So there's that. We have our Music Unfolds curriculum that is part of that. And that's a curriculum, a music curriculum for K through third that I co-wrote with Kimberly Parsons a few years ago. So that's part of the program as well. And we also have our Planning for Peace program that's part of that. So we teach you how to do all of the planning and bring it all together and really have the strength that you need behind it. And that Planning for Peace program actually starts in April. So that first week in April, we're going to be planning, and we'll be planning for next fall. And when you start that early, there's no stress and there's no rush. You can sort of breathe out, and it's not this big scary thing, and we take our time as we work through it. So Planning for Peace is probably one of my favorite parts of the program to work on, because y'all know I'm like this planning junkie. Okay, so it also includes coaching. And I think this is probably one of the best things ever. We include more than it's not just a Facebook group. It's not, because there are other programs that are like, oh yeah, we got a Facebook group. I am live every Friday for our group, every week. I should amend that. 4 weeks out of the month. So in the weeks that there's 5 months, I get a Friday off. But that only happens like twice a year. I think this month is the first time that it's happened in 2020. I don't think it happens again until like September. So the first and third Friday of the month, I'm at 7 p.m. And the second and fourth Friday of the month, I'm at 7 a.m. So I cover the entire globe. So if you are in the Southern Hemisphere, you can catch us. You can catch us at 7 p.m. and it'll be the next day for you. If you are in Great Britain, UK area, then you catch us at 7 a.m. and we've got you covered as well. So on every Friday, we're there, and I love office hours. It's really and truly one of my favorite times of the week, because I love really interacting with our community. And if you are listening and you're like, hey, I'm a Thinking, Feeling, Willing member, but I've never been to office hours, get your butt to office hours. Really and truly, it is so much fun. We have a lot of great chats there. It's the best way to see me face to face every week when you have questions. And you come and I answer your questions right there. We take care of it. If you've got planning questions or parenting questions, we have a lot of parenting questions that come through, or you're struggling with your partner. And the great part about it is we don't record them. And people say, why don't you record them? I want to listen to them. But here's why we don't record them. We don't record them because there's a lot of very personal stuff that's dropped in those conversations. And I don't want that getting out to anybody. That's between the people that are there in that group. So truly, office hours becomes this sort of I seriously treat it as sacred time. I love coming and working with our families every week. And sometimes I walk into office hours and there's 5 people. And sometimes there's 30. So it's whatever you all need. I'm there. And on the weeks that I can't be there, I have an amazing staff that helps and steps in and does office hours for me. But those are few and far between at this point. I in fact, I can't remember. It's been since last year that we had that happen. And really and truly, we love interacting with our students. We didn't used to have office hours. I used to get together once a month, and it was kind of hit or miss. And I had this idea from some other business friends of ours to do this office hours thing. And at first I thought, I don't know how it's going to go. Oh my goodness, it's taken off like gangbusters. And we've been doing it since last April or so. It's such a great time. It really is. So if you're listening, you're a Thinking, Feeling, Willing member, you're like, wait a minute, I've not been. You need to get your butt to office hours, because it is a great time and a great place to ask questions. So much better than asking it in a group. I mean, the group is great too. We do have a great support group, and people ask all the time, is it on Facebook? I really want to be off of Facebook. It's not on Facebook. Our Thinking, Feeling, Willing support group is not on Facebook. It is off of Facebook, and it's part of our site. And so you don't have to be on Facebook to have it. We also have an app. So if you really want to be able to access your content, you can access it from the app right on your phone. So it's super easy. That's how you also access the support group as well. So we have a free Facebook group called Ask Melissa and Eric that we answer questions in for those that aren't part of our membership. But really and truly, when you are part of the membership, coming to office hours is such a great way to sort of get that face-to-face check-in, to check in with other people that are also sort of on this path with you, and to have that camaraderie and friendship, which is something we are totally supportive of. We do have students that have accountability groups they're accountable to each other, and I love that. I love the community that has been really grown with our program. Okay, next, master classes. This is another one of my favorite parts. In fact, honestly, if I'm honest, the whole thing is my favorite. I just love our program. Master classes. So what are master classes? Master classes are an opportunity for you to learn from masters. So last year, the master teachers we had Siglinda DeFrancesca of Coloring with Black Crayons and Stancy of Gnomes, and all of those. She came and talked about storytelling. We had Jamie York of Making Math Meaningful. We had Roberto Trostley of Physics is Fun. Who else did we have? We had Jody Messler from Living Music. We had Carrie Dentler from The Parenting Passageway. And these are all recorded. So if you jump on today, guess what? You can listen to all of them. We had so many great ones. We had our dear friend Kelly come and talk about trauma and how to sort of sort through that. We've had some great people last year. But I tell you what, 2020, I'm just going to tell you right now, if you didn't catch my Insta story earlier today with my sweet daughter telling you who's going to be, our 2020 gets kicked off with David from Sparkle Stories and Meredith from How to Story in February. And we are so, so excited for that. We're so excited for them to come and share storytelling, discuss storytelling, and really talk about how we can really meet our children at different ages with regards to story. So we have them in February, and you only get that if you're a member. If you're not a member, then you don't get to come and be face-to-face. Like, seriously, I know y'all, if you listen to Sparkle Stories, you probably have. If you asked your child right now, hey, if you got to meet the creator of Sparkle Stories, what would you ask? Like Soraya, our 8-year-old, she's already got a long list of questions. I'd really like him to do a story about a platypus, and maybe a story about Godzilla, if that's at all possible, and a story about a ferret, and she's got this big long list. And do you think maybe I could meet him? That's what she says to me this morning, because I'd really like to just talk to him. So, if you've got kids that love Sparkle Stories, this is a great opportunity to come and talk to the creator of Sparkle Stories. We are super excited about that. We also have my co-author, Kimberly Parsons from Music Unfolds, will be in March. We have Elizabeth Seward, who is an amazing handwork teacher. She wrote this great book that I'm going to have her come and talk about handwork and sort of handwork through story. And so she'll be here in April. In May, we're going to have the creator of Herb Fairies will be coming, Kimberly Gallagher. And let's see, we have others. We have so many others that are coming. Super excited. So the masterclass portion is such a huge portion of our program, because you get to come and learn from masters. And you don't just listen to them in a lecture format, you ask them questions. So if you had a burning question on your mind, you get to ask it. And a lot of our masterclass teachers from last year said to us, hey, we'd love to come back. So I know we'll have Jamie York back, and I know we'll have Roberto Trostley back. We've got so many other people sort of in the lineup for this year. Super excited to be able to share that with you guys. So masterclasses. So, okay, that's our program. So I thought I would talk a little bit about some of the objections that I get, because people are like, yeah, I really want to do this, but. So I thought I would talk about that for a minute. And then, again, I'm open to questions. If you've got questions, please feel free to ask them. If you want to email me afterwards, you're welcome to, melissa@waldorfessentials.com. You're welcome to drop us a message, a PM if you're on Facebook, and a DM if you're on Instagram. You're welcome to do that. But we are super excited to help and be able to help your journey. When somebody buys into our program and becomes a member of Thinking, Feeling, Willing, we like do a cheer, and it's not a cheer because woohoo, we have money. That's not it. It's a yay, somebody made a great choice for their family. We keep those families in our intentions. We have an invested interest. We're invested in you and in your child's success, in your success as a teacher. There's no other program that does that. I really care about how you teach. I really care about how you bring this to your children. I really care about how things go in your home. I care. Because guess what? We have so many things that tear us down in this world. This should lift us up. And that's what my intent is with this program every day, is to find ways to lift you up, because that's really what this is all about. Why else would we be wanting to bring this education to our children if it wasn't to help lift them up? So it's really where we come from, is this lifting up space. So some of the things that people say to me, and I'm just going to go through them. And if you have questions, please ask. This is what I hear a lot. There's so much to learn. I am so overwhelmed. Overwhelm is a waste of your time. So I just want you, if you are somebody that suffers from overwhelm, listen, just listen, write this down. Overwhelm is a waste of my time. Why is it a waste of your time? But Melissa, I feel so overwhelmed. Listen, I'm telling you, it is a waste of your time. So you just have to say, you know what? I'm done being overwhelmed. I'm ready to take a step. Because once you take that step into our program, we're there to hold your hand and help you. That's what we do. Because again, remember I said I have a vested interest in your child succeeding and in you succeeding in this program. So I'm there to help you. That's what we spend office hours doing. Office hours generally last an hour, but I will stay there until we've gotten through everybody that needs help. That's what I do. That's the kind of service that I provide, and that's how I show up for you guys. This is what I do. Let's see. Here's one. There are so many free resources. Why should you use us? You're right. There is a ton of free crap on the internet. I'm just teasing. Not everything is crap, but there is a lot. And you could absolutely spend all day and all night, all of that precious time hunting down every free Waldorf resource. You could, but I'm going to tell you a secret. You can always make more money, but you can never make more time. And we help you with the time piece. You get expert advice, an expert roadmap, a way to do this without the stress. You can't get that with a bunch of free resources. So I'm not your gal if you want the free resources. I give a lot away for free, a lot. Like if you haven't been to the resource page on our site, go check it out. All of our podcasts, I give a lot away for free, but this program is not going to be free. It's not free because here's the thing. I really believe in my heart. And it's because I've walked there. I've walked it. I've been the person who didn't have money for diapers. I've been the person who borrowed money from their child for diapers. I've been the person who couldn't make their rent, the person who had a car repossessed, who lost a house, all those things. I've been that person. And at every turn I ask myself, is this really where I want to be? This is not. So I am moving forward and moving up, because there are always choices in our life, right? So I'm going to hop to that money objection really fast. Because I think that it's the one that's on everybody's mind usually. Like, I really want this, but I can't afford it. So I'm just going to ask you really quick. If your partner's boss came to them tomorrow and said, hey, I need you to work for less money next week, but you still got to do all the work. What would you, and he called you and said, hey, I got to work next week. Not going to have time off. and I'm going to make less money. You'd be like, no, that's not okay. So I want you to really think about that, because we're talking about your child's education here. We're not talking about, some silly fitness program or some like extra thing. This is like, you should think about it like food. Like the supplements that you buy every month. You should think about it like that. It's not like some extra. This is like, especially if you are struggling, and especially if you're like, I don't even know how the heck to do this. You should be thinking about this as your lifeline. You should be thinking about this as, hey, I love my kids, I love my partner, I love myself enough to get help. We always tend to push down this need for help, and there is no reason why you can't ask for help. So Nancy says, does Waldorf incorporate math and reading? I have a 5-year-old. Do you teach phonics? In first grade, we do, for sure. In first grade, we teach children how to read, and we have a whole program that's part of the Thinking, Feeling, Willing program that is called Reading, Writing, and Spelling. We teach all of that. We teach math, yes. Waldorf is amazing. There is nothing that is left aside in Waldorf. There are Waldorf kids that go to Yale. There are Waldorf kids that go to Harvard. There are Waldorf, you should look up Waldorf alumni. There are some amazing people that have been through the Waldorf education system. Amazing people. So when it comes to, is it academically rigorous? Absolutely, but not until first grade. Why? Because they're only going to be little for a short period of time. You should allow them to just be. Just be. This is not a time to race them forward. They have the rest of their life to read. They don't have the rest of their life to play Legos. They don't have the rest of their life to play dolls. They don't have the rest of their life to run and, climb and all of those things. We are preserving childhood, and that's what part of what Waldorf does, is preserves childhood. And they will get the reading and mathematics and all of those things in good time. I have incredibly intelligent children. I sometimes stand back and go, maybe that's all me. It's not. It's a dang curriculum. The curriculum is just amazing. We have some good comments over here. And thank you, Lennon, for your comment about Thinking, Feeling, Willing. Let's see. We have talked to my husband tonight about getting this curriculum. Yeah, that's a great idea. Let your husband know this is the steal of the century. The steal of the decade. Like my child is all about, we haven't had this since the last decade. One child is saying that, the 8-year-old, and then the 13-year-old's like, some people don't think the decade starts until 2021. It depends on who you ask. Then we're having this whole conversation. Anyway, we have somebody over here that says, my family is always telling me that my kids are supposed to already know the ABC. My kid's going to turn 5 soon. This is what I tell people that are very well-meaning. I say, you had your opportunity to raise children. This one is mine. I'll let you know when I want your advice. This one is mine. I've had to say that many times. Remember, I have 5 children. But after about the 3rd child, they were like, dang, she is hard-headed. We are not going to say a dang word to her because she will not listen. So really and truly, it's about what you believe. And if you believe in this idea that development means that academics should start at 7, because I'll tell you a secret. Steiner didn't think academics should start till they were 12. But he said, nah, there was not a school on the planet that would allow him to do that. So 7 it is. So 7 is really a great time. And those early years go really fast. Really fast. We teach children how to read in first grade. Most children do with no problem. The goals of Waldorf homeschooling are a little bit different than they are in the school. So I think that when people try to equate the two, they kind of are like, they're both round, like an apple and an orange, but they're kind of like very different when it comes to Waldorf in a school setting versus Waldorf at home. And we do a lot of teaching those differences. And a lot of those differences center around the fact that, when we have children in first grade Waldorf at home,
our goal is to get them reading. In the school, that's not their goal. In the school, they're fine with them not reading until they're like 9. But at home, that is our goal. And I'm very invested in that. And I teach that. In fact, we have a video in our free section, in our free videos, that talks about sort of the path to reading. And so if you're wondering about sort of what we do for that, you are welcome to check that out. And you're welcome to message me. I'm happy to send it to you. Nancy says, how do parents record grades for state requirements? It really depends on what your state is, Nancy. I think that, like I live in California, we don't have to report grades. I keep track of our attendance. Every state is different. So you'll have to look at sort of your state and what the needs are in your state and then follow those. And those are pretty easy to follow. We help families often. If you bring us the state standard and you're one of our members, we'll help you figure out how to follow it. Let's see. Oh, Steffi Across says, I haven't taught her any academics and feel guilty. Don't feel guilty. Go have fun. Run in the fields and have a good time. Go sledding if you live in a place where there's snow. Enjoy childhood. Enjoy childhood. Do not be brainwashed by everything that you see around you right now. Enjoy childhood. Enjoy childhood. Love, Peace, Harmony, and Road Trip says, when this program closes in March, will there be anything else offered that will be for those that are not in a position to join now? There will be, but it will not be nearly this cool. I'm just letting you know, it will not include curriculum. It will not. So I would sell what you need to sell and do what you need to do. Because, like I said, I've been in that spot more than one occasion where I thought, okay, this is something I really want and I really need it. So what can I do? Because the question isn't, why can't I have this? The question you should be asking in your prayers and your meditations is, how can I have this? How? If it's something you really want, the question isn't why or, oh no, it's too much. It's how can I have this? Because when you ask the universe, God, whatever name you put on that divine entity, will show up for you and show you how. Ask the right question. The quality of our life is always part of the quality of our questions. Let's see. I have, thank you. I'm from Brazil. My child studies at a Waldorf school from kindergarten. Now she's 7 years old, reading, writing, and learning English. I want to be a Waldorf mom like you. You are amazing. Thank you so much. Mwah. Let's see. Justine says, that's what we did. We sold stuff, cutting every corner possible. Hi, Justine. Let's see. Yes, the how. I love that. Yes, that's what I do. Listen, all the time, I'm asking that question for myself every day. If there's something that I want, I ask how. I teach my children that too. I teach my children that. If I say, you know what, honey, that's just not my budget right now, because I say that. It's not my budget right now. But if you really want it, let's, go into meditation, which I meditate with my kids every day. We pray with my kids every day as well. We're a praying and meditating family. Doesn't mean you have to be that if you are one of our members. I might convert you to meditation, though, if you're not doing that already. I'll tell my kids, I think you should go ask in meditation, is this a how situation? You want this, and I don't have the funds to give it to you right now, so go ask how. And then, amazingly, things show up for them. My children are like masters at figuring out the how. Well, Mom, I found out that this person over here doesn't need this, so I can give them that. And then I have it. And I'm like, oh, wow. Like, we really should learn from our children. Our children are masters at this stuff. Let's see. So Lovely Natural says, it's so funny because you really are cheaper than other Waldorf curriculums and you offer a ton more and for a lifetime. I know, right? We rock. We do. I have to tell you, I had somebody, we were doing this this manifestation challenge online, and one of the questions today was, do you feel worthy? And I was like, yep, I do. Why? Because I put a lot into our program, and I don't have any problems. I don't have any problems asking for what I'm worth. And our program is a dang good steal. It's a steal. A lady from church, she's an older lady, she used to be a school teacher. She had asked me, like, what do you do? And I was telling her what we do. She said, well, what do you charge for your program? And I told her, she said, that's per year, right? I said, no. She said, Melissa, you got to quit doing that. I said, well, that's what I do. This is what we offer. And it was really funny, the look on her face. She's like 83 years old. She said, no, you shouldn't be doing that. She said, I can't believe that you offer your program for less than the 2 weeks I spent, like a 2-week paycheck for my teaching job. So I want you to think about that. When she said that, I was like, whoa, you're right. But no, this program is amazing. It's an amazing program, and it's not just amazing because I say it is. We have oodles of people that you can ask, and they're happy to give you their review. Look on, if you look on social media this week and you look up the hashtag Thinking Feeling Willing, you're going to see some of our members posting some of the things that they love. We've also been posting them in our stories, and so just look around. And if you want reviews, if you're on Facebook, we have reviews on our Facebook page here at Waldorf Essentials with Melissa Nielsen. So, okay, let's see. What were the other things that people often say to me? I get a lot of moms that talk about how lonely this path is. And it is. It is lonely if you do not have, a tribe with you. And that's kind of what we provide. We help you with that. We have a community, plus you get help from me when you need it. So there's that. I love this one. Inner work is hard. It is, but you can do it. Y'all are big girls. Pull up your big girl panties. You can do it. Being vulnerable, go watch that Brene Brown special on Netflix. She talks about being vulnerable. It's also one of the most amazing things you can do is to really just dive in and go, you know what? I've got crap that I have to deal with, but I'm going to walk anyway. I'm going to walk on anyway because this is what I need. This is what I need, and this is how I want to show up for my kids. And in order to show up for my kids, I got to dig deep and dig into my own stuff. Digging into your own stuff is not always easy. Like, it's often really painful and really hard. But wow, when you get to the other side, like the other side of the poo mountain, it feels so much better. And also don't think that you don't have to regularly dig yourself out of the poo mountain, because there you'll be walking along, things will be great, and all of a sudden a whole bunch will drop on you and go, where the heck did that come from? You'll dig yourself back out, figure out why you walked into that hole or whatever, and you'll walk forward. But that's what our community is there for, is to help with that. Let's see. I love this one. I have a big family, so how can you help me? Listen, I have a big family too. Remember I said I have 5 kids. On our busiest year, we had 4 main lessons and an infant. So just take that in. 4 main lessons. So in Waldorf, I don't teach combining at all. So we teach you how to give each child their lesson, because each child is worthy of their own lesson. Worthy. Remember we talked about this worthiness thing a minute ago. Each child is worthy of their own lesson. So I teach that from the beginning. And the year that we had the busiest year, we had 4 main lessons and an infant, and we rocked it. That might have been one of our best years yet. So, I really dive into the space of teaching parents how to teach more than one child, because it's not as hard as y'all think it is, I promise. And you're not doing school until 5 o'clock. That year that we had 4 main lessons and an infant, I think we did school till 2. We start usually between 8:30 and 9. And that includes, we get up in the morning. And in fact, if you're on Instagram, if you look at our rhythm, you can go and see sort of like a few weeks ago, I went through everything that we generally do in a week. But truly, it's not as scary. It's not as scary as it might sound, I promise. Let's see. I love the families that are like, we're really seeking peace and I'm really struggling with this. Guess what? I teach you how to make peace in your home. Like, that is one of my number 1 goals, is to teach you how to have peace in your home. It's so, so important. And I know how to cultivate peace. I have been really working hard at cultivating peace for many years. So that's what I do. So Eric and I are also marriage and family coaches. So we teach families how to cultivate peace. We have another program that's called Parents in Sync, where we teach you just that. It doesn't include any of the homeschooling stuff. And so we just teach that. And what amazing transformations happen from the families that are ready and willing to put the work in. So no, I teach you how to have peace, and we teach a lot of that in Thinking Feeling Willing. So I think that was all. Those are all the notes that I had. I was making sure I didn't miss anything. So I told you guys, let's see, the program is over March 31st. Why would you want to start right now? Well, I told you there's some really great stuff happening right now. For all the families that are like, I'm waiting for my tax return, I'm going to tell you a secret. Secret. It's not some sale, but it's a secret. You know, if you pay monthly, you can always pay it off later. So paying monthly would get your foot in the door, and then you can always pay it off later. So, and when we have families that come to ask us to pay it off and they want to pay it off within a month of them starting, then I waive all the extra, because usually when you pay monthly, it costs more. But if you start and you pay it off before next month, then we waive all of that. You just pay the regular price that everybody else pays. Let's see, what else? I think that was all. I talked about our app. So I'm going to tell you the link if you are looking forward to doing this. The link is waldorfessentials.com/capital T, capital F, capital W, and then lowercase program, program. So I'm going to put that in the comments on Facebook and also here on Instagram for those of you. For those of you who are watching, we want to make sure you have all the information you need. So just give me a second while I put that in here. I'm going to give you guys the opportunity to ask questions here. If there's anybody who has questions, please feel free to ask. Thank you, Justine, so much for piping in. I have had so much fun having you. Justine is one of our Southern Hemisphere families, and she is a lot of fun. I really like talking to you when we talk to you. I talk to our Southern Hemisphere families more than once a month. So you can come to office hours and talk to us, or our Southern Hemisphere families get their own planning for peace because they're not like us. They're different from us. So they need their own. They need their own planning for peacetime because their school year runs differently than ours. Okay, sorry, I am slow at typing here. Essentials. So, anybody have any questions that I can answer? / I'm also driving Eric's phone at the same time, and so his phone is different than mine. Okay, guys. I appreciate you hanging out with me for the last hour. There we go. Now it's on Facebook as well. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me for the last hour. And if you have any questions that you didn't feel comfortable asking here, please drop us a note. Again, you can drop me a PM if you're on Facebook, drop me a DM if you're on Instagram. You can also catch us at melissa@waldorfessentials.com. That's where we are. You'll get me or you'll get Nicole. You might get Eric too, just depends on who's answering emails that day. So, feel free to ask questions. Let's see. Hi, Maintenance Mama says, can you DM me the program website? If you'll send me a DM, I'll send you the link. Please drop me a DM now. Amy says, we are in Florida and don't have seasons really. How much will that affect Waldorf learning? Not at all. I live in San Diego, sister. So when I wrote the program, at first, we lived in Idaho and then in Utah. And so we had a lot of 4-season based things, but I talk a lot about living where 61 degrees here today, which is, I have to say, not warm enough for me, but I'll live. But we live a couple of blocks from the beach, so we are in the sun all the time. And, that's part of our reality. And I teach you how to really take that in. It doesn't have any effect really on Waldorf learning. It doesn't change the curriculum just because you live someplace that doesn't have 4 traditional seasons. It changes how you look at things for sure and how you adjust your seasons, but it doesn't change the curriculum at all. So, okay, does anybody else have any questions? Thank you so much. You guys have had great questions and great participation. I appreciate you. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. I'll see you guys later.